Hello, welcome to my cake kitchen. What's happening here? I'm Gladys, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials about all things cake to help you navigate baking and decorating easily. I think in a little short while you'll see some of the cakes I have made in the past, which are covered here widely as tutorials for you to learn from. A few videos ago though, I had the request by a couple of you guys who wanted a conversation or a discussion about the honest process or the honest experience of running a cake business. And I did say I was going to make time and incorporate some of those conversations in our lives. Last week was very busy. We had a chit chat session, and then the rest of the week were covering tutorials on a customer cake that I was making. I recorded much of the process, but I'll tell you as the life develops some of the challenges I had, which wasn't the cake itself, but the issue of timing, customers, and everything else in between, just to kind of give you some context and real experience and texture to the experience of running a business from home, and when communication doesn't always flow as you would expect. It will be very interesting. But today I am going to be talking to you about the sort of mindset shifts that one has to probably consider and grow into to be able to grow, or at least achieve some success in a cake business. And I want to caveat this by saying, when I say success, it doesn't automatically relate to one particular thing, because society just has a way of defining success as some sort of financial gain or some financial incentive and remuneration, and that's not what I'm referring to. I will encourage you to define your own form of success, whatever that looks like. Success is very subjective, and as long as you have peace and your goals within why your definition of success is achieved, I guess that is down to you. I would say honestly, when I say success as in relation to me and my business, it's not by a mile related to financial success, because do I have the money, people? No. Okay, and I'll be the first to tell you. But running my own business, or at least the attempt at learning through the process and accepting the challenges that have come with it, my definition of success is the ability to be able to stay present and to be able to navigate life's changing circumstances without all the chaos that may befall me if I was in traditional employment. Now, that is this season of my life. If another season arose and I had to juggle maybe a traditional form of employment while staying present to some extent, I guess that would be me. So I say that to say the idea of success can be overblown, and we as people who consume a lot of information on the internet can feel very insecure about our own circumstances. Whereas if we kind of closed off what we were taking in and focused on what is in front of us, you will find that there is a lot to be grateful for, and there's actually a lot of success one is achieving in their own journey. For instance, if you're a mom right now, you have a little one, and yet you want to go off and run your business, and your friends over there on the internet are telling you how successful their lives are, and they're going shopping and they're doing all the lunch things and the cool travels, and you're sitting there thinking you're failing. But the truth is, what you're doing is actually more valuable, because you're home with a child who needs a mom. That could be success in itself. Does it come with sacrifices? Yes, you're sacrificing your dream, your goals in the short term. You are, okay? But in the long term, you are raising a whole life. Sometimes if your goal is to run your own business, as I have been approached many times from some of you guys here who want to be able to build your business, go off and do all of these things, but you are in traditional employment and you can't seem to find the balance. Look, at this moment in time, the thing you train for that is so skilled, you are investing it into somebody else's, and that is not a bad thing, because doing that means that you are getting an income that is paying for your life. Because this business of I'm running my own business, it ain't for everybody, I'll tell you that. For everybody, because when the money is not coming in as you would expect, and yet responsibilities and cost of living is piling up, you want to ask yourself, can you cope with the pressure of not knowing when the money is going to be coming? Because honestly, running your business, you're not going to be raking in the money very quickly. So how then do you find the balance between where you are at this moment in time whilst holding on to hope that your goals in the future will be achieved? I think some of the perspective that I could bring to this conversation, I hope, will be able to inspire you and reframe your thoughts about where you are right now, so that you can feel encouraged to know that, you know what, all of us have our very individual journeys. And featuring in this conversation is this my lovely cat that our dear Dawn got for me. Dear Dawn, she got it for me. Dawn is our lovely moderator here. She's gone house. I want to know about Dawn and her house hunting. I just want to be able to finish this conversation, because I do have a terrible habit. If you're just joining us, hello. I have a habit of just wandering off and leaving the objective of the conversation. So I think my brain is trying to kind of keep me here. Like I'm like the loose monkey that wants to run around and do all of those things, right? But something just wants to keep me together. So I'm going to try and stay here with you, so that we can have the conversation, and then the rest of the live will be about chatting about your questions and answers and everything else. So if Dawn is here, hello. Dolly, hello. Dolly, how are you? How is life? How is the weekend? How is cake life? How is life at home? I hope everything is okay. And Auntie J, how are you? It's great. Like it's great to be here with all of you. I wake up on a Tuesday and I'm like, I need to go see my people. And some days, you know what? I told you, I love it here, but it's a fight to get here, because some days I wake up and I'm like, I want to roll over and lie on my sofa. And other times I'm like, so today, you know what I did? Other times my morning is very admin centered, and I get to it and I'm sitting down and I am kind of like putting out the idea. Or sometimes I have like some backlog of admin stuff to do and I don't do them on time and all of that. Today, guess what I did? I went and made myself French onion and carrot soup. Not the Ghanaian way. This is for Dolly. Dolly, I am typically English now, because the Ghanaian cooking, I ain't got time. Okay? I just have enough time to make myself jollof rice when on a weekend. But on the weekend, if I don't have cakes, I'm exhausted. So I don't want to be spending hours in the kitchen. So it's French onion soup for me. And you know what I did? French onion soup. Google French onion soup and you will know that I have become Europeanized. That's all. Auntie Jackie just said in the chat, for those in traditional employment, use that time and resources to build and fund your home business for later. Auntie Jackie with the tip. People, hear what Auntie Jackie said. Use that time, because sometimes you kind of think this is taking all my time and I can't manage. And sometimes you know you want to, but you don't know how. Circumstances may be very different, but hopefully some tips to kind of like reframe where you should be considering on putting your efforts and intention should help you kind of like get back in on the road with that. Auntie Jackie said, oh, I'm well. Auntie Jackie, can you see I'm well? I am good. I'm good because I'm not feeling bloated. I told you, it's not breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast. I ate brunch, and my brunch was French onion and carrot soup, and with cream, and I made some homemade focaccia. Not the best. You know what? I don't know what the fuss is about focaccia, because I like my bread very raisin and nice and squishy, and I find that focaccia, depending on how you do it, it's a little bit dense, and I'm like, who eats that dense bread? Maybe I've been missold something that I don't know about. It's a little dense, if you like. It's heavy, and I like it though when after it's baked I sprinkle some olive oil on it, let it soak, and then I put it back in the oven, and then it crisps up, and it's a bit like what is this, it turns out like croutons but with a soft inside. I like that, but that means I have to go out of my way to do that. So anyway, I say that to say I am very well, thank you, and hope you are too. How is the weather wherever you are, Auntie J? How is the weather? And for the rest of you who are here with us today, hello. So yes, we're talking about, Dolly, are you at work on a break and you're stopping with us for your break time? Is that your break time? Oh, cold again. Very unusual. Oh, my darling. You know what? I hate to ruin it for you. There's a little bit of sunshine here. We have a little bit of sunshine. Like today, I can look into my garden. It's like, oh, this is nice. Today we have a typical, are we already in spring? It looks like a very nice spring weather day. Maybe we've not made it to spring, but it's not cold. It's nice outside. It's nice. So yeah, that's what our weather is like. But that said, people, would you define your own success? What do you think, if right now where you are, if someone had to ask you, do you think you are successful at what you are doing? And what you are doing could be being a homemaker, being at home, whatever you're doing. Do you want to put in the chat what your definition of success is, just so that we can have some sort of gauge about what each individual's idea of success is? But that said, you can define whatever success looks like to you, as long as you know that you have a level of fulfillment and your definition of success ties into your goal. With that said, the mindset you probably have to get into to be able to make your business successful or sustainable. I think the word I'm looking for is sustainable. Sustainable in that whilst it may not be as financially sustaining for you as you would like, to make it sustainable in the long term and to be able to enjoy the process, you will have to come off the idea of treating your business as like an emotional extension of yourself and see it for what it is, as a business. And I think that is sometimes the challenge for most cake makers who start. Because most cake makers, I'll tell you for nothing, that we are all creative people and we fall into the habit of baking just to ease some sort of anxiety, or we enjoy the process. We are passionate about serving people. There is a caring element. There is also an excitement of doing something new. All the things that end up giving us the emotional like satisfaction that we so desire. And then suddenly, one way or another, it becomes this thing, a business that is not supposed to have anything in common with the emotion that led us to start. at least for most of us who started as home bakers, it's a similar pattern where somebody had a job, they enjoyed baking on the side and they didn't think much of it, but they got better at it, and then someone encouraged them. That story becomes a repetitive pattern that we hear all the time. But I think if anyone set out to be like, okay, I am a business owner, I really think this has legs, so I want to go out and pursue a few different business ventures that will yield me success, we probably won't be having the same problems we are having as cake makers, where some of us as businesses and individuals represented the businesses are our own worst enemies. Because have you seen the comment section of some other cake makers? I mean, the good thing is that we've had the conversation where our community here is rather positive, thanks to you all who are just lovely, good people. But generally, have you seen the comment section of your favorite person on the internet lately, especially when the subject of pricing comes from? And I have already told you, the subject of pricing and the issues that come with pricing has nothing to do with the pricing, but all to do with how people feel. So if you step out of treating your business as an emotional extension of you, because the emotional extension is you make the cake, you want to serve people, you want to please everyone, you want to make people happy, well, then don't run a business. Stay at home, make a cake, give it to your kids, give it to your grandkids, give it to your work colleagues, give it to your friends. Let everybody be happy. Because I tell you, if you've seen my series of shorts where I'm like, running a cake business will change things for you, I say that from experience. I say that from experience. If you haven't seen that series, go back and check. Running your cake business will affect your relationships. Running your cake business, turning your hobby into a business will have you crying like a crybaby in the kitchen every now and again, and you'll be wondering, is it my hormones? Is it this husband that is pushing me to my boundaries? Is it this kid that I don't even have the skill to? I speak from experience, you know. But the good thing is that with the advent of the internet and people being open to share their experiences about what it really, really feels like to run a business, maybe you will have the information enough to kind of reframe what your thoughts are. And right now, if you are in the process where you feel like you are making the mistakes that I am just about to talk about, don't worry. We've all made those mistakes. Look, I've been here doing this thing as in making cakes for the last 10 years. I think my confidence and the experiences I speak to you has transitioned with the same mistakes that you are probably making. So you know what? I am no better than you. But the good thing is that I did it, and I'm here to tell you how not to do the thing. Because if you don't make that change, if you don't start looking at your business as a business and start acting accordingly, you will burn out, you will hate your business, your relationships will be affected, and you will hate yourself for it. Thank you. The question I'm seeing here is wallet. Is it wild wallet? Well, I'm just going to carry it and say wallet, okay? Because some of the names can be a little bit like, and I don't want to butcher it. So I hope I got it right. So there's a question in there that says, I'm out of the subject. Does the Bible mention that Jesus eats food? Second, does it mention that Jesus provides food? Thank you. All right. Bear with me. I think I'm the postman. People, help me out. Thank you. Okay, I ordered myself a tripod stand. Okay, people, help me out. I think I have an answer, but I can't trust myself to be very adept with the answer, and for that I am counting on you guys to help me out. It is such it's a random subject away from what we are discussing, but look, I am happy to make a detour by the wayside. People, see, I told you I have gadgets, right? Here's one of them. Oh, what is this? Okay. Okay. It's a tripod, but I don't know, a tripod stand. And I don't know what to do with it. So I'm going to leave that to the side. And I hope the answer our friend so desires is kind of given, because I think the short answer is yes, because our dear Lord Jesus Christ in human form made provision for food. I think if you look in the Bible text in the Gospels, before his death, he would visit people, okay? He communed with people. The story of the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes was him making provision for a crowd of people. The reference to the Passover and the last meal that he had with his disciples. So the simple answer, without getting into a Bible chat, is, I guess the simple answer is yes. And much of that conversation can be extended in the chat, especially those of you who have had your Bible study, because I can't pretend I've had Bible study lately. Okay. My Bible study has kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit lately, okay? But if you have had your Bible study and you can kind of point our good friend to a specific thing that he or she can focus on, that would be lovely. And so back to the subject of the mindset shift that will take you from running your cake as an emotional extension of you to being successful and making it sustainable for your future. One of those is to, have you wondered about pricing? Okay, I'm going to categorize this into 3 things that you have to critically look at and address properly. And under the 3 categories, the first thing is pricing. The second thing is boundaries in your business, and managing emotional pressure. Like these 3 things, they are not in any particular order, right? Either way, you're going to have to look at things under this umbrella of items, just so that you can actually define for yourself where your struggles are. And at another time, maybe I'll add some more to the umbrella so that you can look at this closely. So at the moment, say if you are a home baker and not a business yet, but you want to transition into a business, or you have even started, wherever you are, like we're not talking a complete novice to the side, but somewhere in between where you like, I've started, but I am not where I want to be yet. What does that look like for you in terms of pricing? You've heard me say time and again over here that the subject of pricing is very nuanced for me, because I don't think it's very black and white. And the simple reason why it's not black and white is that pricing is not this one thing that relates to a particular business, okay? Pricing affects or is determined by different businesses depending on their business structure, their business goal, and the idea of how their business is set up. It is also influenced directly by their business plan. So for instance, if their target audience as determined in their business plan is targeting the masses, they would then go back and optimize their business processes and efficiency of time to meet the needs of the masses, which means it's a mass production based kitchen. So it could be a home kitchen, but your equipment are to assist a mass production purpose, if you like. So for that reason, pricing is generally on the lower end as compared to somebody who is targeting a niche custom based cake, if you like. So pricing is not this one thing where all cake makers have to all bunch together and sort of encourage or agree with each person's pricing. You could be pricing at the extreme end of the high pricing list, and that's okay. And you could be over here pricing on the lower end of the low pricing spectrum, and that could be okay. The question a business has to answer for themselves is, are they meeting their cost, and is their business structure and processes, including their financial goals, going to keep them sustained for a very long time, as long as they want to stay in business? And if that is a yes answer, good for them. You know, the problem though is that most of the time you won't have the big companies or the ones who are running these businesses coming to tell you how much they are making it, the stuff, because then there are like individual costs related to it. Some of them may have staff and other things, and coming to break down their cost on the internet may just not be something they are invested in doing at that point in time. And those who are targeting the high-end custom niche markets over here, who are charging like an arm and a leg, in a good way, by the way. This is not a reflection on how I feel about pricing, but what we may deem an arm and a leg, say for a 2-3 tier cake that costs over £1,000, and people are all up in arms about, oh, that is too extortionate. You do not know what went into that. One thing I do know is that the pricing is not influenced by just the flour and the ingredients. Pricing is extremely influenced by skill, expertise, time, business costs, and everything that goes into it. So if you're starting from the beginning, how do you determine where you are on these pricing structure, and how do you optimize your goals for the specific things you want to price, which is the cake? So here is a direct tip for you. A few questions you can ask yourself. If you don't think you are pricing appropriately, especially at this point in time when you are over here as in starting, the simple question I want you to answer is, close your eyes and ask yourself, what is influencing your fear of pricing appropriately? That is, if you're scared. Maybe it may not be that you're scared. It may just be that you don't know. And so the underlying principle here is, if you are not scared to mention the price, you are probably undercharging. But then again, I'll counter that by saying, do you think the price that you're charging for the particular cake is representative of the price? Because let's not be delusional. Let's not be delusional, because when you're starting and the cake is looking very wonky to the side and it hasn't got everything and it's looking like my, what do you call, my Grinch. People, I make great cakes. I'm an artist, but I can't make all cakes, and I definitely can't make Grinch. So how much will you be selling your Grinch cake? Let's have a conversation about that. Oh, Hepzibah, you know what? The idea of an ebook is great, and I would love to. What I would really love is to make this into a show, though. Yeah, because I think for a show, we will then appeal to a lot of masses. And if you support and you watch, then we're all happy. You know, if I put it in an ebook, I become like everybody else, and I don't know how I feel about that. But the intention is... But the intention is so welcome, though, lovely. Thank you. You know, so let's not lie. So you see, suddenly, touching on the subject of pricing, you can see where we are. Because if I came here and I sat down and I told you, oh, you are not pricing accordingly, maybe your issue is not because you don't want to price accordingly. Your issue is that you feel insecure about Grinch. Lollipop out here going, Grinch was okay. Lollipop, I know you love me and I love you too, but let's not lie about Grinch. Grinch had funny eyes. Okay, Grinch had funny eyes, like, why are you doing this? Right? Yeah. Can you see? That was how Grinch was looking. Grinch was looking like this, like. So, so let's not lie, okay? So here are a few questions for you. What to be able to yeah, I know that was the only thing, but do you think as a cake maker I was confident to I just got away with Grinch because it was not a customer cake and I was happy it wasn't. Because if it was a customer cake, you know what, I would have spent twice the time and I don't think I would have charged confidently for it. I know you love him, Tapita. Tapita, I know you love Grinch. You know what? Us over here, we are open about our mistakes. We are open about our strengths. We are open about the things that we can do. And we leave what we cannot do to the wayside. And we even talk about it sometimes over here. And that is because, you see, I come here to talk about pricing because suddenly my fear of pricing is not, I wouldn't say gone completely, because some days I price a cake and then the person says, the customer says yes and my knees buckle. I won't lie. Okay? I won't lie. Look, your sister is not out here flexing on you, making it look like, you know what, I make great cakes, so I know it all and everybody prices their cakes and no, let's not do that. I will tell you, the custom cupcakes that went out recently for the custom order for the corporate cupcakes. There were only 130 cupcakes. They cost £638. You do the maths. I'm not flexing. I told you asked for an honest conversation, right? And I'm like, we are either doing it or we are not doing it. Okay? We can't be in between. I can't come here and give you hypothetical issues, okay? Because I don't live in hypothetical. If I'm talking about something, believe me, I've experienced it or I have come close to experiencing it. So I will not tell you quoting £638 for 130 cupcakes didn't make my knees buckle. Like, I was like, what? But the reason why I was able to quote that number was because I looked at the maths. And the maths made me realize that I couldn't charge any less than that amount of money. I couldn't. Because by the time you create the cupcakes, box them individually, no. I would rather go to sleep, or I will find a second job. Like, I will go out and find a job that will not take a lot out of what I'm doing, but will put my best over there so that it pays me. Because what we are not about to do today is to just chase a cake for the sake of making it. If you go into my cake inbox, believe me, there are days my diary is empty. The subject of cake covers my diary every day. You see me here on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, at least thrice a week. That takes preparation. I have to think, especially now that we want to kind of communicate value. I have to sit down. I have to derive the weekly outline of what I'm likely to discuss, get my thoughts together. And yeah, some days it goes wrong and you see me over here howling to the side and going on a long tangent. And then some days there's a cake in the middle and then what I have planned doesn't happen. So cake is always on my table. But what is not always on my table? I cannot come and sit here and pretend that my diary is booked and busy all the bloody time. Hello? It's not. You see me. Because it's like, if I'm sitting here talking to you, where the order at? But that is also intentional. We cannot pretend that as a homemade business, your diary is so full every day, every Sunday. I cannot cope with that. 9 cakes a weekend, I will crash out. Okay, I don't have the capacity. As a person, I can't afford to, because for me, it burns me down. when I in the past, when I had the help of a marketing agency that was helping my marketing efforts, so I was inundated with orders every weekend. That was a previous pastime a couple of years ago, I think about 2 years ago. And I had orders, and they were like your customer orders, like say a specific cake for some country manner. And sometimes it's not even like a super custom cake, but it was the portion sizes. So sometimes they wanted a tray bake for say 120 people. And it's nothing special, but when you think about putting together 127s, boxing all of this, I was drained. In the end, I crashed out because I just felt like I couldn't cope, because there was no time in between making the cakes and then enjoying the creative process. It became, let's keep pushing. I hated my business then. Like, I hated my business. But like most businesses, you're going to have lean periods. And the lean periods came. And I was like, oh, what is this? And then life happened. So we are not going to pretend that this is all like I have made it up the hill. I'm talking to you from a place of vulnerability, but also from a place of experience, that I had to confront the conversation with myself about what my needs were in terms of the business, and recognize that, you know what, taking the one cake that will have my very best in terms of effort, creativity, and output outweighs 3 cakes that are median priced that will exhaust me. Because I will tell you, the person who will argue with you for a cake for 40 or 70 pounds will take a lot out of you. And I'm not judging, I'm just telling you. They are the people that will text you in the morning. They are the people that will delay your payment. They are the people that will have you chasing them. Oh God. God, don't lose your head. Don't lose it, okay? So, I'm telling you, if you are stuck in the emotional crutch of treating your business as the emotional extension of you, you will be caught up in the game of perception. So you are managing what people perceive you as, and so you want to look successful. So you say, I have a job and have a business, and you're running around. You will wear yourself out. Because what is keeping you going is not the truth of your business that you should be confronting and the discomfort that comes with it. What is keeping you going is the adulation and false perception and projection that you think people will have of you, that you are successful. Meanwhile, you're not sleeping properly. You hate what you do. You don't have time for a creative break where you can really think about your cake and what you want to put out, and it's just running the wheel back and forth. Part of the reason why I had to diversify is because I had a conversation with myself very quickly when I realized that, oops, this is not going to work for me. Like, I ain't chasing nobody out here, okay, for that 40 pounds. It's not going to work for me. It's just not going to work for me. I don't want to be in the kitchen every day making a cake, because some days I am tired. Some days I just want to take a break. But what do you do if you've tied yourself to the income that is directly tied to the customer? If you are not serving the customer, you don't have money. So I had to have a conversation with myself to realize that actually, and this is not a forever thing, you should be open to adapting your goals as you go along. Okay, you should be open to looking at the season that you're in. In the season that I was making this decision, I had some challenging personal issues that took the life out of me. If I never made a cake, I would be okay. As in, I didn't have the emotional strength to wake up and make a cake. But you know why I made cakes? The cake was like a sort of distraction. So by diversifying and ending up on YouTube, I cannot tell you the number of times I showed up here on YouTube when, if you knew about my life, if I told you I couldn't do YouTube, you would say, oh, I understand why you wouldn't. But by having the conversation with myself and being very open and honest with myself, I realized that this space right here is not a business. It is intentionally a business as an idea, but it also holds a very safe space for me, which is a distraction from my real life and the chaos and sometimes the emotionally difficult things that comes with it. So when I come and sit with you, it's like I go home to see my mom. I speak to my friend. Do you know what I mean? I don't bring it here, and that's intentional because I don't want to, because the moment I kind of like come and vomit my emotional like turmoil here, I ruin the space. It's like I want this to remain so like, let this be a positive reinforcement of hope, fulfillment, and growing through the pains and succeeding at it. And then when I'm done, I can go back. So this has become like a space of fulfillment for me. So the energy you feel about being here and feeling like the community is great, it's not down to just me. It's because you feel that and you bring that too. Do you see what I'm saying? So I had to have the conversation with myself to realize that I can't do it. I can't be churning out a cake every week. I can't do it. Like, because I don't even have the same relationship with my phone. And for those of you who know me, as in those of you who email me and know me, you know that some days the email drops and I don't even look at it for weeks. And that's not like a precious thing. That's because I don't have that kind of relationship with my phone. I can leave my phone out here for a day if I don't want to respond to customer inquiry because I don't have the emotional bandwidth to do it. I can walk away. But by walking away, I have the awareness of realizing that I will not make that income. There's no two ways about it. Walk away, you don't make the income. So what do? And I don't want to be tied to the income, because when you start dancing to the income consistently, that's where trouble comes. So you have to then look out. So I say this to say, if you are already in a journey where you are struggling to price, stop comparing yourself to everybody else and look within and answer a few questions for yourself. Is it because you are afraid you will lose your customers because you've already established a relationship with them and you want to please them by serving them their needs? So you are serving the cake at every cost, but at your own what? Self-worth. Are you pricing the cake because you want to be liked? If that's the answer for you, sis, I've got news for you. It's not going to end well. Because they will find somebody who is cheaper than you and they will leave you. And if you are tied, if your pricing is tied to them, their loyalty and commitment, when they leave, where is your business? It will collapse. So take the emotion out and ask yourself, why am I selling this cake for £40? Why? Why am I selling this cake for £50 when I know that the numbers don't add up? Am I selling it for £50 because this season I'm looking to build a portfolio? Because if that is the intention for selling a cake for £50, I am mad at you. But how long will that portfolio keep going? It's been 12 months. And if you made a cake every other day, there are 52 weeks in a year. All you need is 12 photos in a portfolio. That's a dozen photos. And that's one cake a month. So in a year, you've been building that portfolio, charging the cake for £50 when it should be £90. And yet you keep telling yourself, I'm building a portfolio. That portfolio is built. It's closed. Please leave that alone and move on to something else. So answer your own pricing questions. Are you pricing because you want to be liked? Are you pricing because you're scared? Are you pricing because you don't even have a formula? Because sometimes the simplest reason is because you don't know. You're a cake maker. You're a creative who is exercising creative ability. You didn't wake up to be a business. And I certainly didn't. So I'm not going to pretend I knew it then. And you think, if cake has to do with just ingredients, why then should it be £90? Because we both know even the highest, like the most expensive shop will not sell like flour for 100 quid. So why is this even a thing? So if you don't know the formula is very simple. Add all your ingredient materials, the time, plus incidentals and additional costs. Even when you're home, there is gas, there's electricity. ChatGPT is your friend. I can give you a formula. I try not to do that because I'm trying to answer the question as openly so that you can define where your struggle is. But ChatGPT is your friend. If you go to ChatGPT and ask, I'm a beginner baker, how much should I charge for my electricity? It will give you a ballpark number. And believe me, whatever number they give you, double it, and that's what you need. Enough on the subject of pricing. Let's talk boundaries. Last time we were talking boundaries with the people around you, as in your own friends and family members and all of that. But to be able to succeed at running your business and making it sustainable, you have to have a boundary with your customer. And sometimes this conversation is hard to have because you think because the customer is paying for you, or they're paying for a service, you feel like having a boundary is going to stop your money. And that's where you go back to holding the emotional crouch again. Because if they are paying you, you are also providing a service. You are providing them value. So the boundary is not so much to inhibit the ability for someone to purchase off you. The boundary defines what kind of relationship you are going to have with them. And if your relationship with them is defined by they are paying me for a service, so I'm going to do my very best to provide them value, that's a good boundary to have. That may not include having them text you in the middle of the night and you having to text them back. Like, I don't text my customers in the middle. Look, after 6 p.m., I'll probably give you a heads up, especially if it's a loyal customer who I have a sort of relationship with, if you like, a business relationship for that matter. And they called me up on a Monday afternoon just before I got on a live. Here's the tone of the conversation is, okay, I am open to making your cake. It's Monday though, so it will depend on how quickly we can discuss this and confirm it. Since you're calling me now, I'm on an errand, whatever it is. If something is, because what I will not do, and this is not being precious, this is like a set of boundaries that I've had to define to protect me from being dragged around like a doll. Okay, because if you don't define your boundaries and the relationship you are going to have with your customers, they will call you Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday evening, Friday night, wanting a cake for Saturday morning. They will. And it's not their fault, you know. They don't know. They don't know that custom cake making. They don't know that custom cake making takes time and organization. So they're calling you in the middle of at 8 p.m. wanting a cake next day. How are you going to do that? Like, I'm not getting up at 8 p.m. when I'm putting my son to sleep to come and make a cake. I'm not. Like, but that's, I need you to register this part of the conversation if you're listening to me, that this boundary doesn't make me like, as in like I have money, so I am being precious. I know I need the money, but it's also important for me to have a sense of sanity and control with my home life. Because what kind of balance are you having when you have a child to tend to at 8 p.m. and yet you're running out to Tesco to shop? Can I say I've done that before in the past? Oh, hell yes. When I started and I didn't know any better and I just wanted the cake so that like people will know I make cakes. I'll go to Tesco. But you know what that did? It exhausted me. You can't go to the day job, come back, be a wife, look after the children, look after the husband and everything else, and have people calling you at 8 p.m. and then you're running to Tesco. That's not sustainable. Maybe in the short term, it might be something you want to do for that customer you value so much. But in the long term, it's just not sustainable. Because what if Karen calls you on Monday and Tuesday afternoon, Karen whoever calls you on Tuesday and another person calls you Friday. So you're making trips to Tesco back and forth, right? So boundaries in your business is also like trying to have a reasonable relationship with the customer by providing them value, but also being able to protect yourself from being pulled around in every direction. It also has to do with the way you communicate with them. One of the things I will say to Dawn says it takes 2 weeks to get a doctor's appointment. One of the things I say to in the past, and I think I'll come back to and have this conversation. I'll come back and have this conversation in, say, a podcast style, if I could, about what you need to think about when you are at the formative stages of your cake making, your cake business, the formative stages, what you want to do. And one of the things I will always highly recommend is get a completely different SIM. I won't say a phone, because at that point you can't afford a phone, but you can afford a SIM. Modern phones can hold 2 SIMs. Use one exclusively for business and use one for yourself. Do not use your personal number in the hopes of transitioning into a business. It will get harder. It will blur the boundaries between your personal life and your me time and serving customers. So the way you communicate to customers. Sometimes, like, in the past, I've been to cake groups and someone has posted a conversation they've had with someone inquiring about a cake. And then the conversation is like, they think they're talking to their friend. Like, as in, like, oh, hiya, can you make me this cake? And the cake maker, without knowing, goes, oh, hi, darling. They are not your darling. And you know what? Words matter. Because the moment you start addressing them as casually as though they are your friend, the boundaries become blurred. And that's how when they take their cakes home. Okay? Because first of all, cake makers have a very hard task. Let's be clear. We start off with all this good intention, but what we don't realize is that we are already categorized by the customer and the society within which we live. And that's because the perception of a cake's value as this thing, because everybody's nana makes a cake too, is the reason why the value of the skill has been driven down, and people have the nerve to be shouting at cake makers in their comment section about how much they price their cakes. It is highly driven by the fact that people do not associate any sort of economic and material value that a cake can cost £1,000. And that's because, and I'm not talking the grand cakes, like there are a few artists I've spoken about who make spectacular cakes. And when they quote for it, I look at it, I'm like, yeah, it should be worth it, because why not? But that's because I have the privilege of being a cake maker and can understand the skill. But I can tell you, I don't understand why Louis Vuitton is selling a pen for £600. Not only can I not afford it, but even if I could afford it, why would I pay £600 for a pen? I don't pretend to know why, but I guess it's because it's not valuable to me. It's not something that appeals to my need in any way at all. So I'm not paying £600 for a pen. And you see what? the parallels between how I feel about a 600-pound pen and a 100-pound cake is the same, because somebody else is looking at a cake and thinking it's £100. Why should I pay £100 when I could get one from Tesco for 40? Can you see? So it's like apples and bananas, but you see the principle here. So I am not mad at customers who just want to price down and get a cake for a bargain. I'm not mad. Like, I'm very indifferent to the subject and the conversation. I'm very indifferent about it because I see it for what it is. If I can openly tell you here that, forget the fact that I cannot afford a 600-pound pen, but I don't understand why a scarf, say an Hermes scarf, for whatever reason, whether it's made from cashmere or something, why should it cost 3 grand? Like, why? I don't understand it. Maybe someone will have to educate me for me to realize that, oh, really? Okay. And so when I have a few many zeros in my account, but for now I can't afford the thing, so I'm not pretending. But the principle here that I'm trying to show is that you are probably feeling like all you can afford right now is go to Primark, H&M, ASOS. That's all you can afford. Your budget for your best favorite jumper is about 70 to 120 pounds. That's okay. That's what you can afford, right? And that is how someone feels about cake too. They can afford 40 pounds. They can just afford 60 pounds. They are not paying 150. And I'm not mad about that. Because you don't want to buy that jumper for 200 pounds. They don't want to buy that cake for 150. It's the same. The problem though is we have started as a cake maker. You start almost like from the worst part of it, because there's, especially in this economic climate, there's a lot of people who cannot afford a lot of things. And custom cakes are a luxury. But because the luxury is accessible, because sometimes the definition about how people feel about the value is because the value is out of reach. Because we're here talking about Gucci, but the nearest Gucci shop will mean I have to get on a train and get to where? Birmingham, Bullring, or go up to London, Stratford, or somewhere, or Westfield Mall. Is there a shop there? Somebody tell me. Okay? I have to go. It has to cost me a whole ticket and a train ride to get to a Gucci shop. So not only can I afford it, but there's friction between my present place and where I have to go and get that value. So you see, that value is taken so far away from me. But the problem is that when people think about cake, they're like, my neighbor makes cake and it doesn't cost them a train ride. It costs them 10 steps. Okay, it costs them 10 steps. So not only do they not value the thing, but where they even think, oh, let me think of this value, it's not hard to get. It's accessible. And you see, in economics, when something is very like there in people's faces, people don't tend to value it so much. So the idea of us cake makers making cakes and charging what it's worth is steeped in how the whole collective of a society feels about this product, that they feel, this shouldn't cost that much because what? It's flour. And then you also perpetuate that idea and reinforce the belief system by stooping down to their level and treating them like, my cake, not only is my cake accessible, but I'm free for the taking any day. So they walk 10 steps to your door. And I mean that metaphorically, okay? That doesn't mean people have to come to your door to order a cake. I mean that metaphorically, that people can pick up their phone, get on Facebook Marketplace and find you. And then when they text you and go, hi, can you make me this cake at 8 o'clock in the night? You have jumped on it. You're like, hello, lovely. Yes, I can. And they're like, bingo. Not only is she desperate and less than busy, but I'm the only customer they may get in this season. So let me give them 40 pounds. And you're like, let's go. Where is the boundary? Okay, my people, you asked for the honest conversation. Oh, I think I should make this into a podcast so that I can shout, because I kind of feel like after this. Todd, the rich people will tell us different about how we, the poor people, feel about their 40,000 pound handbag purchase. And you know what? I do not even want to get into that conversation, because maybe if I had so many zeros attached to my bank account, who knows? I might probably have an investment consultant who will sit me down and be like, check. You've got a few many zeros and the tax man is coming for it. So perhaps you should consider investing it. And sometimes it's not about houses and cars alone. You need to buy yourself some antique leather bags, because their price will double 3 years. So you see me walking around with the 40,000 bag. Meanwhile, it's an investment I'm looking to resell. I don't know how I feel. You know what? When I become rich, I'll definitely not come and sit here with my bank account, but you will see the signs. You will see. And I don't know. I do not know if it will involve a $40,000 bag. I don't know, because I reserve the right to enjoy my life in a season where some things probably are not accessible to me now. And so I think my life and its little experience has taught me, don't make judgment about things you don't know about. I don't know why anybody spends 40,000. What I know is that maybe they have their 40,000 to spend a lot and beyond. And if they do, good for them. I don't. Okay? So I'm going to sit here and mind my business. Prawn cocktail. Have you seen your email? Girl, where have you been? Where have you been? Good to have you back, Prawn. Where are you? Oh, you haven't seen the email. Okay, right. So let me just say, since we caught up the last time after the boxes, I've tried to email you twice and I received notification to say it hasn't been delivered. What I don't know is that whether the email, like as in, sometimes, you know, when email gets full, it bounces back. I don't know. It was weird to me. So that was like twice. So this week, today is Tuesday. I think yesterday or Sunday, I just sent you a short message to say, this, I've tried getting it, so let me know. So good to see you here, because a little part of me wanted to leave it in a comment, but I thought if you are around somewhere gallivanting away, you won't see the comment. But it's good to see you. It's good to see you. How are you? Your drive is full, so you need to delete. Girl, you need to get rid of all that mess you have sitting in your drive so that we can catch up. How are you? And where have you been up to? What have you been up to? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. How is life? Easter is coming. How is grandma and everybody? Great. Okay, so I've spent the entire time talking about a hamburger cake. Dawn is like, oh Lord, Gladys, you made the cake I'm on about. Okay. Lollipop is saying some people don't deserve money if they buy that stuff. Lollipop, don't say that so soon. Don't. You are currently in a caravan in Aberdeen. Girl, are you okay? Well, I hope you are enjoying the travel views and the convenience of caravan life. Okay, have fun with it. But it's good to see you here. Do you have internet? Look, I know nothing about caravan life. So if that is your temporary home for the time being, come tell me all about the joys of it, and maybe I can join you. Because, you know, we need to go out for that tea, girl. We need to go out for that tea. All right. It's very windy now, but otherwise, love the nature sounds. Oh, you know what? When I think of Aberdeen, all I can think about was when the Queen passed. Oh, when the drone footage of her transport from Scotland, it's like it's full of countrysides. And I'm like, this will be a lovely rural place to live. And then when I think about who is coming to get a cake from those like highlands, nobody's coming. Nobody's coming, you know. So yeah, we it will be lovely. Don says I love Aberdeen. Hubby flew. Oh, okay. Yeah, that when my only reference to Scotland is obviously when the Queen passed, but a very long time ago, a family friend had a family member that lived on one of, you know, I don't know what it's called, but this small Scottish islands that are sometimes like, what is it called when you are off grid, and it's the sort of place where you have to kind of get on a boat to get to, you know. And when they told me that's where they lived, and they emailed me and invited me to come for a visit, but I panicked because the family member is who I knew, but it was their like extended family member that lived there, and we met at the family member's house party. And so this person who is related to the family friend of mine we were talking about it, and they were like, oh, you can come and visit. And they emailed me. That was very kind of them. They emailed me, and I think I've been so rude. I just panicked and I didn't respond because I didn't feel like, I can't swim. I don't want to be stuck on a boat in the middle of an island I don't know about. You know, so yeah, Prawn, it's good to have you back. I know we just have to enjoy the time we have with you because we may not have you here for long and then you're off trotting again. But we hope you are enjoying life and having fun. And yes, so if you've just caught us in the middle of our chat, we're talking about the mindsets. I can't even say mindset. The mindset shift that you have to consider to be able to transition to making your business, your home baking business, at least sustainable and at best successful for yourself. And we're talking about the three things you have to really look at, which is pricing accordingly and appropriately. Don't make it an emotional thing. Establishing boundaries with your customers, which is setting clear goals about how you communicate with them, what you say no to before you even get to it. Because if you don't define what you say no to, you'll be caught right on the back foot. Okay? Because when a customer is texting you at 8 p.m. on the day where you feel like, oh, I could do with an order just to soothe my self-doubt, what are you going to do? So you're going to say yes. And then once you start going down that road, it's only going to get darker because there's only one way it's going to happen. It keeps going and going. And before you see, you are making cakes that are worth more than how much you are charging for it. And yet you keep finding excuses. Oh, I priced less, next time I'll price high. Or, oh, I wasn't sure. Oh, I'm building my portfolio. Oh dear. And then you keep going, and then 3 years later you're burnt out because you know what? Suddenly, when you have established a reputation for being that person, they will come to for a cheap cake. It is hard to kind of turn back the clock. I can tell you that for nothing. So it's always valuable to kind of establish your boundary, define how you communicate with clients, the ones who will come and emotionally manipulate you and pressure you. Like I remember one of these days, I was I went to my business email and a customer, and this is 9 p.m. after a long week of working. And I've told you before, one of the things I am not good at is the admin. I'm not even lying about that. And the admin is very specific. Like when customers contact you, as in when customers get in touch, they really are looking for information, because at that point, they are not making a concrete decision on purchasing from you generally. They are not. It's more like a passing consultation or a passing curiosity. So yeah, they've gone on Google. They've seen the website. They like the photos. But they are not even clear whether they can afford you, because whilst the pricing is there, that is a generalized pricing option, which is to give them guidance. Right? But for their specific niche as a custom cake maker, they have to contact me, tell me their specific preference in terms of design, option, and presentation. And then I can quote according to what we discuss, agree, and confirm on. Right? So when a customer emails me, it's not certain that they are going to buy anything from me. It's more like, hey, I see you. I like what you have. Now, this is what I want. Can you do it for me? But the thing that will make a difference is whether I get to them on time before they make the decision, or if I don't get them if I don't get to them sooner, they're gone. They're gone to the next person. And I also don't think my system at the moment for inquiries is not very robust. And I am very open about that. It's not robust, because some people have an automated system where you email and then you get an automated message that says, I'll respond to you in 24 hours or something like that. So it kind of keeps communication like flowing. I don't have that, because when I have setting the automated email response means that you have to revise it. And I haven't gotten to the nitty-gritty details of doing that all the time. So if you message me on a Tuesday and you want a cake for Saturday, and I'm in the middle of a custom order that has overwhelmed me, it's unlikely you'll hear from me in the week. You'll probably hear from me next week, by which time it's too late. I say all that to say, many customers end up in my web email and I don't get to them. And I made the conscious choice, because in the past the business email was on my phone, and I made the conscious choice of the associate in it. So unless I'm on desktop, it is unlikely I'm responding to any business email, because the business email, especially with the spam, it keeps coming, and the notification, before you see, your day is over and all you've done is keep scrolling, right? So I had to take it off my business phone and put it on the computer. But that also means that I am not always at the computer every day to check on the emails to kind of respond. So at that point, it's like, I've made peace with it. Do I hope to improve on that? Yes. But at this point, I am clear that it might just be a task that I am not optimized for. Maybe I have to get a PA or somebody else who can help me with that. But in the short term, I'm just going to have to contend with losing customers. So you know what? I've made peace with that downside. So I'm not running around trying to exhaust myself and take any and every order. And that's a boundary. Like, I'm like, if it gets too much and I feel like, okay, I'm not going to run out and kind of get every and any order. But can I have an efficient and a robust system that will ensure that I get the customers that I need? It takes work. Coming up with an effective marketing plan. Because just because you make cakes, don't assume that people know you make cakes and they're going to come to you. You're going to wear your business on your sleeve, like literally you wear it on your sleeve and walk around and be your business. That's something I personally struggle with, because I don't want the overwhelm and I don't want the business to be me. The balance of trying not to be in your face all the time and still like allowing the business to speak for itself, it's a bit blurred, because I don't want to be in your face, so I don't talk about the business. So I'm typically that person who is sitting here and people are having conversations about they want a cake and I'm still sat there quiet. And that's because the boundary is for the people close to me, especially in relational spaces. Like, relational spaces are the spaces where you go because you have relationships there, right? And it's your everyday place. You have to make a determination whether it's worth bringing your business there. Because part of the boundary is that there may be a group of people in that space who may not be able to afford you. Are you going to discount it because it's them, or you're going to see opportunity and take it? Neither here nor there. Okay, people, I think I've spoken enough about this. So the subject of running your cake business successfully will require you to face your business as a business, to recognize the tools and resources that will help as a vehicle to drive the business to its next stage. But the biggest driver of that vehicle is you. You are going to be your own decision maker. You are going to be your own advocate. You are going to be your own person who exercises initiative and registers those initiatives, implements them, and then adjusts as you go along. And if you're prepared to do that, believe me, try as hard as it may. When you start, you will see success in the end. But if you don't make any of those changes, and you think, oh, they're gonna like me, they're gonna like you, but you will hate your business in the end. They're gonna like you, but you will never be able to make the transition that you require to earn a sufficient self-sustaining income. That's all. Okay, so let's see. I think when last week, Denai is not here today. Last week, Denai kept asking what the cake was filled with, as in the cakes I made for the customer. She was asking, and I didn't see it until later. I had to look back at the messages. If Denai comes back and she sees it, Denai, the cake was filled with the Swiss buttercream. Yes, it was filled with Swiss meringue buttercream. And the chocolate was chocolate French buttercream. It was only the vanilla that had the Swiss buttercream. So let me see, you have some questions there for me. Let me have a look so I can answer them. Prawn is in a nature hotspot and she's considering getting an staying on the caravan a bit. I've seen a lady living in a caravan in Wales. Ooh, okay. You're living remote. Look, as long as you're staying safe, looking after yourself, we need to go to the tea place. Well, you're gonna have to get off that caravan and get into town so we can see you, honey. Okay? But yeah, it will be lovely. Process, I don't think you'll be swimming anywhere. I can't swim. That would make two very vulnerable people prone to drowning. Okay? The only reason I haven't gotten on the boat is because, like, I think to myself, if I can swim, then I have a chance. But if I cannot swim, I'm dead in the water already. And so I'm not trying. Okay? So I've been taking some swimming lessons. Remember, once upon a time when I came here and I was shouting about taking swimming lessons, hello. Hello. I came and I was shouting about, like, let's girl. I did though. I did. But I go a bit and I stop a bit. So it's like the lesson is not consistent. Okay. Process is such a horrible thing to negotiate and manipulate people to lower their price. Well, it's a good thing you are not a cake maker because we get the worst of them, okay? We do. Pastor say, I notice people contact via Instagram messaging. Okay, right. Um, Instagram messaging. I will answer that for you. I've never had luck with when I was there. From getting responses, it's always AI, but from customer perspective. Do you do anything special? Oh, okay. So Lollipop made cupcakes, ate pizza, and soaked in a bath with the bubbly. Did you? No, I don't know. I was kidding. Nothing wrong. Oh, okay. Ooh, Dawn. Whatever house you are hunting for, please find one with an extra room. Don't worry, I won't bring the kids. So we can go swimming. You can teach me to swim, okay? You got me this lovely cup. Look, Dawn got me this cup for my birthday and says, sometimes you forget you're awesome. This is your reminder. Today, I just needed to remind myself I was awesome, okay? So like I'm not self-absorbed. I don't sit there in the mirror like, oh, look at me, I'm awesome. But some days we all need a little pick-me-up. So you see, I'm not drinking tea because like I told you, I had French onion and carrot soup. So me and my little cup over here, right? Okay, so let's talk about the way customers contact you. How customers contact you isn't exactly a problem. You don't have to have a website. I just realized very quickly earlier on that I couldn't do the Facebook, the WhatsApp, and all of that. So even when people have contacted me from Facebook, I will redirect you to send your inquiry. So for instance, if you've already sent me first of all, I'm not even active on Facebook at all. Like Facebook is the place where I don't exist. I have my business names associated to the pages that I have created. And that is because I needed to kind of take control of that before someone was squatting on it. Okay. So I do have the Gladys's Cake Kitchen business handle on Facebook. I have Gladys Gourmet Cakes, which is my cake page. And then those two accounts are connected to my business account, which is Gladys Gourmet Cakes, but it also represents me. So it's not for anything personal, but it's like I'm still the person, the business that has those two pages, if that makes sense. But I am hardly like on there. I actually, in the end, deactivated my Instagram account because the more I looked into Instagram, the less attractive it was for me. Is that to say go and deactivate your Instagram account and avoid Facebook? No, not at all. The point I was trying to register here is that communicating with your customers takes time. It takes a specific process and a system that you have derived that allows you to talk to your customer, but in a way that establishes boundaries and enforces and enables respect for you, your time, and all that you do, just so that it can support your ability to provide them value, and they compensate that value by paying for it. That's all. So for instance, when people contact you via Instagram, as long as you don't make it into a chatty, you're my friend kind of cake vibe, because the whole point, if you turn it into chill and vibe over here, they will haggle you down, they will get comfortable. But for instance, if Instagram or Facebook is the only means of contact, because perhaps you don't want to give a number out, and it's neither here nor there, the way you communicate with them is important. than the means by which they communicate with you. So for instance, if someone contacted you, hey, hi, you make cakes, could you quote for this cake? What you don't do is just go in and go, oh, hello, lovely, thank you for whatever you say over there, thank you, and yes, I can make this cake, when are you available? Like, no, make sure your conversational structure is optimized for some clarity and purpose. So perhaps when I was on Instagram, when people have contacted me and gone like, can you, like, Instagram was the place that I used to get how much? A lot. Like, nothing, no hello, no hi, no, I get that we are not friends and you don't know me, but what happened to being polite and courteous? What happened to that? What happened to, hello, I trust you're well, just a quick inquiry, could you quote for this cake? What happened to that conversation? What happened to acknowledgement? But what I used to get is, how much is this? And when I see the message, and I'm perhaps, most of the time, look, what I'm telling you today didn't just like, I didn't wake up one day and then decided, I haven't always been here, and I haven't always been like this. But you build strength with time. Your confidence grows with time as your skill expands, as you get more clear about what your thing is with your business. You act accordingly, right? So probably in those years when that message comes, I'm in the kitchen already, I'm baking. I don't have time to go, I didn't make this cake, I cannot answer you. And by the way, that's not the way I choose to answer people. I'm just kind of telling you what I'm thinking. So maybe I've seen the message, but I'm unable to respond. You know what they do next? Oh God. They give me a question mark, 2 question marks. Like, now I'll tell you for nothing, those are the customers you want to avoid. Those are the customers you want to avoid. So my people, maybe as we are having these conversations, there will be a time where I will come and give you some communication guidance on how you approach talking to your customers, because I realize that that's a real thing. That is a real thing. Like how? Because we all speak differently, and there's no one way that is good or bad for how you communicate. But there is definitely a recommended professional way of talking to someone. Okay, we can all agree. Whilst we cannot agree on the exact content of what a professional email should look like, because there's no set definitive words to say, these are the words you should put together in this order to make communicating to your manager or someone like in a professional setting should look like. We can all agree to what professional communication standards look like. And you certainly don't send your manager a message, hi, lovely. Okay? Sometimes I'll tell you this. When I have, when I'm coming here to do this, like, the cake business talk to you, right? Some days I'm like, I'm really unsure. Like, I do have the idea in mind. I have my notes, but I am not sure, because it's a new skill I am growing. As in, is it a new skill? I'm lying, okay? What I mean is that whilst it's not new, it's not the most comfortable. My most comfortable spot is when I'm talking to you about cakes, okay? When I'm talking to you about cakes. That I know on top of my head. It doesn't take much to do that. But when I have to come and sit here and talk about business and some of the things you have to do, some days I'm like, but I'm glad we're here. Okay? I'm glad we're here. Let's see. Faso, I take it you can swim. Faso can swim. Look, if I fell in water right now, I think I could try, but I can't say I can swim. My son is a better swimmer. My son swims. I can't. Well, we are enjoying the conversation about moving. Dawn, have you found a place yet? Have you? Is that what you're discussing? Are you happy? The house has sold, and have you found a place yet? Let's see. Lollipop says, I haven't actually been swimming in over 10 years, maybe longer. Well, it's even though you haven't been for 10 years, it's not something you forget, is it? Oh, you've put an offer on one. Congratulations. Are you happy with that one? Or do you feel like you feel the pressure to move because the current has sold and you don't want to be homeless? Congratulations, though. Everybody is moving and I'm still here with my packed boxes. Okay. My time will come. Okay. Because in fact, unless I've gotten the place that I really want, I'm not looking forward to a move to a place I don't. Oh, you really love it. Oh, I'm happy for you. Congratulations. Let's come for the housewarming party. Okay? Does it have a pool that you can teach me swimming in? What are you looking for in a place? You know what? I'm definitely, matter of fact, I'm definitely downsizing, because at the moment where we are, it was a family home and it isn't anymore, is it? So definitely a 2-bed. But in terms of I'm not concerned about the size, because you know what, sometimes we are all obsessed about a nice big house and we forget that where we sleep is just the size of us. You're not going to get bigger in a bigger room. But it's nice to have a spacious bedroom nonetheless, right? So I'm not fussed about that. What I am looking forward to is a nice area, because where we live at the moment is surrounded by some country. It's not like it's an urban countryside. There are parks, some really, really nice parks, and the area is just covered in that. And it just gives you it gives me, at least, it gives me such a serene feeling that I can walk around. Not that I go for so many walks, but for those of you who have caught up with me outside of here, you would know we do go for walks, me and the little producer and the big producer sometimes, and we make fight. It's a really lovely area to be. So whilst the move means that I will lose that sort of attachment, it is such a nice and emotional attachment for me. Okay, I love where I live at the moment. I do. One thing though, I'll be honest, the people are not the friendliest. It has been, if the environment didn't actually appeal to me, there would be no point living here. The general feel of the environment, the place you live is important, the people you are surrounded by is equally important. Maybe because I come from a value system where community matters. And I'm not looking to build community with my neighbors, let's be clear. But having friendly, the immediate people that you see on your everyday walkabout, like walking around with your son and doing stuff, it's important you have people who care and who can say hello. And that's not by a mile what my experience is. The few that you see me like interact with are very, very few. Like Albert's mom and one or two neighbors that I talk to are probably people who connect with me because I make the effort to reach out, and we have that. But generally, for a cul-de-sac, the people are like, okay. You know, so because of that, I am sincerely looking forward to leaving this place behind me because it's like when morning comes and you're walking and your neighbor is coming towards you and you know they're not going to say hello, or when you pull up in your car, they're just going to look away and ignore you. You know what? That's, I have gotten used to it because you don't feed me and I don't feed you, and we don't have to have a relationship. But it's a harsh community spirit that I'm not comfortable with. Okay, so where am I looking to going? Hopefully a place that is more receptive, but even better, a place where I can feel comfortable with my business and expand it. That's actually what I'm looking forward to doing. It will be a plus. I don't want to end up in an urban concrete. I don't. Like, that will hurt me because I still want a place where, naturally, where I am kind of bidding for are all like urban villages. So maybe about 10 minutes from a main junction, if you like, but driving into a rural spot. It's a new development and it's still surrounded by some countryside. I don't want to go far out because I still have to consider proximity because of my own lifestyle. Like, I'm not a person who likes to go out a lot. Like, I'm not an outdoorsy person, but I also want to be surrounded by nature just for the benefit of my son, so that we can have those access facilities. So yeah, a 2-bed in an urban village or countryside, probably a new development because then it's sort of a fresh start. But if I had a nice bungalow in a village somewhere, I might consider it, surrounded by old people, because old people are the loveliest and I will always give them cake and they will love me. Just saying, you know. So yeah, I am so glad for you, Dawn, that you love your place, and onwards and upwards, and may you settle and find peace in your new home, because being in a place you call home, it's just like over here. In the end, I was so gutted when I knew that besides my landlord wanting to sell, we were so blessed having our landlord. I know landlords do get like a bad rap about how some can be slumlords. That's not been our experience at all. Obviously, we got this a long time ago through an agency. From the agent to the landlord, we haven't met our landlord. We have no like direct relationship with him. But the feeling we've had has been somebody who has been prompt, who has treated us so well. And so it has been important for us to keep the home, as in, even as we transition, to just give it back in its like best state for them, if you like. But if we could afford it, and I could, if I was in a situation where I could buy, I would give anything to buy the home in which we live. And it's not just the convenience, it's just I love it here. I won't lie, I love it here. So the move is just like, but I have to give up my Egypt to make it to Canaan. I have made peace with that too, because you never know where the journey will take you. and there's always something better in the at the other side if you pursue it diligently and well. So I have made peace with what I'm giving up, even though it's not easy, right? So yeah. Yeah, Prawn was saying a lot of rural suburban areas tend to be insular. Oh, Don says, I feel I might struggle with the downsizing, but there's a lot of green ground. You know what? Change is always difficult. Change, whatever it looks like, especially for a home you've been in, even if you were like upgrading to a bigger house than where you were, whatever is influence, change is just like, change is hard. So hopefully you can make a lot out of the downsizing and enjoy the green space and all the good stuff that is ahead of you. Okay, Prawn says, we're cut from the same cloth. We couldn't live in the city, even though I have a place in Edinburgh, yeah, for uni next year if I decided to do that. But I want a farm with pigs. Girl. Girl. I detached myself from the cloth of keeping cows and pigs. The only pig I want to be interacting with is my bacon, okay? But you know what? I see what you mean. I'm just I see what you mean. I love, for someone who comes from Ghana, for some weird reason, I just love a country. I don't like rural countryside, like the proper countryside where you and the neighbor are like a mile in between. No, I couldn't live there. Okay. I'm such a chicken. I need people. I need people around me. Like I love my space, but I love people. So a rural countryside will not, an urban countryside where it's just secluded enough. You have green lands, you have parks, you have protected spaces and all of that, with areas of long walks and not too far from a major highway I'm in. Okay. And it feels like I remember years ago when we came to view this property. This was one of two property, and I remember the first day we viewed it, I just called up and we made an offer. Like I was like, no, we have to get. And if we do move, like I told you, we don't do house tours here. We don't do house tours because I like to sleep, and you people I love and you love me. And if I made a house tour and showed you where I lived, I don't think you guys will care. You will enjoy it and we'll all move on. But there are creepy people on the internet. There are creepy people who do not support what you do, but they have eyes to come and creep up on you. And I have a son to protect. So when I'm on my way out, whenever that is, then I'm gone. So I'll show you what the house is and you'll see what I mean. Okay? But yeah, ever since we settled here, I realized that there was always something like happening. And whilst at heart, then I don't know, but if I didn't feel the way I felt about this house, I wouldn't be here this long. We've been here for a long time, and our landlord has been an amazing person. And I intend the day we make it, I will leave him a handwritten letter to say a genuine thank you, because landlords do get a lot of bad rap about their attitudes, and yeah, there are some really terrible ones. Lollipop, hello. But this guy has just been like a decent human being. And yeah, if we could buy the house off him, we would, but I can't. But you know what, Prawn, talking about you having the farm, honey, if you do, I won't say if, because I'd like to think whatever you want to do, you can put your mind to it and succeed at it. If you do, when you do have a farm with all the animals, invite me over for tea. I don't mind a visit to the farm, okay? For a potter around to fulfill my curiosity and to catch up with you and to eat scones and bake cake in the farm barn, okay? What I cannot do is waking up to tend to the sheep and the goats. I cannot. That's all. Prawn. Prawn out in the open sea and in the rural suburbs. Oh, you like the wilderness. Oh, I don't mind going on holiday to any of those places that prawn you like. I don't mind. A nice holiday in a countryside somewhere where you don't have network. Count me in. But I'm only there temporary. I want my urban luxuries, okay? I like the urban suburbs. The luxuries of going to an Aldi, which is about a 10 minutes drive away from me. Because before we came here many years ago, we used to live somewhere where it was right in the middle of the busy area where we lived. And I could walk into Iceland and Aldi in my pajamas. And I loved it. Yeah, the pajamas didn't look like pajamas though. But I did walk in with my pajamas. And I loved it for convenience. But once I had my son, I was like, this living in a flat, I couldn't do it because it became very claustrophobic, especially with the cakes and, you know. So then we ended up in a house. We'll see. Well, prawn, you need to delete your storage so that we can email you the contact so we can stay in touch with you, honey. Okay, more so we can know where you are. Okay. Jesus, prawn, you have such texture and depth to your activities. Sometimes I wonder what it would feel like if I met you. I wouldn't know this would be you because you just have like breath from all the things you do. Girl, you are amazing, okay? So enjoy your time in your caravan. I think you and Lollipop will make such a good pairing. Because when Lollipop comes with Fang, the python, and the kittens, you two will make such a good team. And me, I'll be hiding over here like like a chicken. And Dawn will be out here with her nice nails, keeping the group together. And Auntie Jackie will be out here making us some good food over here. And Tabitha will be here with the sudden vibes. It will be such a vibe though, people. Okay, let's support each other. Let's support the community. Let's grow together. And you know what? Actually, I'll tell you what I was thinking. And I'm telling you what I'm thinking. Let's not make much of it. But I was just thinking of developing a 6-part series of a show. Like it's like a talk show format. Not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's still set in the kitchen with cakes, but the format is still about cakes, but will include real life conversations. For instance, like say having a conversation in real life conversation about losing friends, starting over again, grief, like some very specific thing, possibly infertility, like delving deep, but it's not going to be long-winded. It will still be within the time frame of a bake session, but instead of talking you through, here's the ingredients, here's what we do, here's, you do all of this, because the baking tutorials are set in a very specific format where I introduce myself, get to the ingredient, I introduce myself and the objective for the tutorial, and then get to breaking down the baking phase, the ingredients, where time allows, and then move on to the process, and then we get to the finish. It's a very strict format, right? So I was just thinking, is there room to create a show? Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to deviate from what I do here, because that is still the core of me. Over here, you and I make cakes, we talk about cakes, but can I incorporate what we are actually doing here as part of like a bigger development outside of cakes? Or not to exclude cakes completely, but invite real conversation. So instead of just making it all about cakes, it's more like whilst we bake it. So imagine being in the kitchen and then having a conversation with a friend about a real life subject. Right? What was it like when you lost your best friend? Did you think your best friend was toxic, and then suddenly the friendship ended? How did you handle it? So the process of the format of the show is introducing the objective, which is that maybe we are baking, let's say we're making a simple strawberry muffin, if you like, a strawberry filled muffin. I don't know what that is, just a random something I made up, okay? But whilst we're doing that, we're talking about like a very important but very present subject that relates to any of us. So what was it like when you at the moment, the subject of conversation on social media is friends who get jealous of you? I have never felt as though a friend was jealous of me. I've had friends who have acted very toxic, but before I grew up and grew some sense, I was probably a toxic friend too. So apples and oranges, neither here nor there. My point is, what was it like when you lost a friend? We can have that conversation, and then by the time the conversation is over, the cake is baked, and then we'll get it out. Like, it's an maximum 8 to 10 minutes show format. I was just thinking about it and I'm developing it. So I don't want to make a promise about it, but I'm hoping that the first episode can show for the Easter season. I don't know, just saying. So look out for it. I just want to see what the feedback is. And that doesn't mean we're losing what we're doing here. Everything we're doing here will remain. And then we'll add some few things as like an adventure, like we're kind of tinkering with the idea. And we'll see where we'll land. Who knows? That's all. Yeah. So, Lollipop, have a good day. I'll catch you later, darling. Take care. Mwah. We are leaving in a moment, myself anyway. We are leaving because we've been sat here catching up and chit-chatting all along. People, it's nearly 4. Your sis has to go. Prawn, you need to go delete the storage so that we can catch up with you. Because if you hadn't shown up here, we wouldn't know you're here. Faso, darling. It's Tuesday. I hope work is treating you all right. Go and enjoy your me time. Tapita, is she still here or she's left? And Dawn, enjoy your new home. I hope the offer is accepted. And yeah, we'll come and have a house party at your expense. I'll see you all soon. Mwah.